Hi, Ron Hammy with WLIO in Lima. Governor, my question is for you. Looking at the new model, when we get to the back end of the curve here, have you given any thought to lifting those orders on a county-by-county basis, specifically those counties with significantly lower numbers in cases?
Well, I'm going to let Dr. Acton, because she's the one that advises me. One of the challenges is that we don't have consistent testing. Some of our major hospitals have testing. My guess is that skews the numbers somewhat. We don't know how much in those particular areas. So we still have, I think Dr. Acton said, 4 counties that we don't have a positive in. I would be shocked if the virus is not in those 4 counties. But I'm going to let the doctor talk about that.
Thank you. That is a great question, and it's something, that we're really thinking less. It's less geographic, especially since we don't know the prevalence and don't have good data yet, and it will more likely be based on conditions and sorts of things. What I do think will happen is that more at the local level, we will see these outbreaks, but we'll also see quieting. And actually, one of the things we're working on is a sort of meter, sort of like TSA, where you have different levels of heightened security, that as we monitor the virus, once we can monitor the virus throughout Ohio, we could almost have heightened levels of where it is in communities and higher prevalence or not. And that could be very useful for you at home to make decisions about. I mean, we know we're going to be living for a long time with washing hands and distancing kinds of things to be safe. But eventually, when we have the kind of data we need, we'll be able to know a lot more subtlety at the local level. So I think that's a great question. And another part of what the science of what we're going to be doing actually a giant survey of Ohioans, which will take place actually in the next 2 weeks. So it will be very soon that we're going to start to get some data from people about what they've experienced, especially folks who maybe were sick and mild and stayed at home, and we don't have them in my data here. But when we have the blood test, and we think toward the end of this month, keep our fingers crossed, because nothing is, until you have it in your hands, I don't quite believe it these days until we have the test in hand. But we're going to be doing a sampling of 1,000 people in Ohio that are a representative sample of people, so we can see who might have even been asymptomatic and never known they had the virus. And from this kind of very detailed epidemiologic data, so no models, just real knowing from people on the ground, detective work, we'll be able to have a better sense of where we are with this virus in Ohio. And that will help us make better decisions. So it's a lot of things we're going to bring to bear as quickly as we can, as the governor said. And I just want to echo that sentiment he said so beautifully. We don't want to, this is a painful time we are going through, and we are feeling every emotion. All of us have felt every emotion, from frustrating and maybe raising our voices in a meeting and feeling frustrated ourselves to despair and at what we feel we've lost. And so, please keep bearing with us, because we really want to lead the way on doing this for Ohioans in the best way possible. Thank you.
Lieutenant Governor does have some information on unemployment.
I do have some updates on some of the unemployment issues that have been raised.